bienvenidos. Yo soy Ricardo el Profe from MLTV and Radio Láser, and I have with me three luchadoras, amazing women, and they're part of 559 Mural Project. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So first, the chisme here. Let me tell you how this whole thing came about. So one of my friends is Phil Gonzalez, which is an adjunct professor at Pacific University. I'm sorry, Fresno State. And he teaches, I believe, Chicano Latino studies. And we got into the conversation of murales because his tío, right? Because we always have a tío who does something, was an amazing muralist in the 70s. And so we got into this conversation, and he started to tell me about your project, and I was, how do I get into this novela? Because I feel like this is such a need in our community. So I'm with Selena, Kiana, and Serena. Kiana, fabulous hair, by the way. I know it has nothing to do with the interview, but I thought I should bring it up.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Start with Selena. Yourself to the project, Selena.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Profe Ricardo. Yes, so this project actually is like 2 years in the making, and Serena was there for the beginning of this novela 2 years ago. And we actually, all three of us actually were in grade school together back in the day. Kiana and I. Sorry?
Did you say
grade school? Wow. Yeah, Kiana and I go way back. She lives across the street from me. So we've known each other since we were 4 and 5 years old. Yeah. Then, you know, we went our separate ways after graduating high school. I went to Northern California, and Kiana was in Manhattan on the East Coast for over a decade. Now is back in the Valley. And Serena here, our longtime Central Valley gal. And how we got reconnected was she was running for city council in Kingsburg.
I totally recognized the name. I was like, why does her name look so familiar? But now I know. Now I get it.
Yeah, no. And she, you know, was fighting the good fight, representation in Kingsburg, because they had divvied up the districts, right? The region, and she was running for District 5 or District 1?
Right. District 5. Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I was actually in my business and public administration's master's program. And so I knew that I wanted to do something in the Central Valley, my hometown. I was aware of the inequities, the injustices, wanted to address racial injustice in somehow, some shape or form. And so this project came to be, ended up being my master's in public administration thesis to build upon Vicki Filgus's work of the murals in Selma that she got started back in 2010, to build upon her work and to actually address racial injustice and social economic inequity by painting murals in neglected neighborhoods in rural communities.
Okay.
And so that the writing of the thesis got completed in 2019. It was kind of just sitting there because I was like, how do I introduce this complex topic of racial injustice and socioeconomic inequity in like the Central Valley that could be very conservative and can seem like a big mountain to like, how do I address this big subject that people kind of deny and don't want to talk about, you know, kind of like place blame on people's behavior and race as opposed to like policy. And then of course, this whole pandemic really exasperating, making worse the issues of inequities.
Sure.
And then with Trump and then the killing of Black lives really just pushed us to do this project.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things I really enjoyed about reading the information you sent me about the project, I feel like here in California, we are at a crossroads. We are at what happens next, right? Because we are filled with injustice. There's Black Lives Matter, there's poverty, there's homelessness, there's immigration. Right now, not to change the subject, but my group is providing masks and sanitizers for farm workers. And wow, like the drastic income challenges are sad to say the least. And so what I want to know from each of you, and I'll start with Serena, is why did you feel that this particular project was the right project to start now, even regardless of the pandemic that we're dealing with? Why did it have to happen now?
Right. No, Selena and I, as of last year, were reading a book called How to Be an Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. So we were having like this book club virtually. She's in the Bay Area, and that we continued reading that book up until the beginning of this year, where we saw the reawakening of the Black Lives Matter movement. And it was just perfect timing. We got to see what Dr. Kendi was writing in his book, take place, right before our eyes with the continued killing of Black Americans. And so I founded a group called Central Valley Allies for Change, and we, stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. And Selena was in our group, and she was we wanted to know, like, what are we going to do next? Because we had a unity event in Kingsburg, which is very, very conservative. And then we had a Black Lives Matter march, or a march for racial justice in Selma.
Right.
And so Selena was introduced her thesis project to our group. And yes, in the midst of this pandemic, the issues are still happening, and we see these gross injustices continue to happen. And so it was just the right time. Everything just fell into place. And so we wanted to continue our protests. And so this is a way for us to protest through art. And even though Selena and I are not artists, it's just so important, to get our message out there, and to let people know that we haven't forgotten about them. So, we're standing in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, with, the immigration issues. And so, yes, it has, people continue to be, my heart just breaks for people. And so I'm going to be that voice. And so, I'm right here with Selena, getting this work done, because it needs to happen. And so I'm just so proud of what we've done this far in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
One of the things that, before I let you on, Kiana, one of the things I remind people is, if Black lives don't matter, neither do Latinos. They just think they do, but they don't, because we are equal, I think, in the eyes of most people. People say brown and Black people. We are blended together, right? So one powerful, powerful voice. And sometimes we forget about that. We forget, we're uncomfortable sometimes with that power. So one of the things I wanted to mention to you, Kim, I love the fact that music and art are the two things that unite people, and no one can misunderstand. I mean, what the message is, especially with art. Tell me how this plays a part in your life. This project.
Are you asking me?
Yes, Kiana, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I am moved by art and music, and I've gotten the chance to, I left the Central Valley when I was very young, as a adolescent and a teenager, and I got to live in LA for a long time, and I got to travel all around the world, and then I was most recently living in New York. And I have to say, in these big cities that were melting pots with cultures from all over the world, I didn't feel, excluded. I always felt included in most of the environment that I was in. And I got very, very comfortable, and that made me very happy. Most recently in New York, I fell in love with music in a way that that it had never touched me before in my life, and I dedicated 2 to 3 years of my life of going to all of these music events where I got to see cultures like just come together, didn't matter what race, what color, where in what part of our country you were from or another country, we were all bonding and enjoying, something, in whatever environment that was, whether it was a nice clean environment or whether it was a dirty, sweaty, festival environment, we were all bonding and together. So coming back home to the Central Valley, not only did I feel pretty immediately when I got here, the issues of racism that still live here that I remember from growing up here as a child, 5 years old up until I left. Not only did I just feel that energy, it started to make me uncomfortable and upset. And I started to just not feel at home. And I'm like, how can I not feel at home in my home? I'm from here, my family's here. So anyhow, I went to, the pandemic hit and I felt even more alone as I moved here 1 year ago in October, and just trying to get acclimated with Fresno and being back in the Central Valley after, being away for so long. And then the pandemic hit a few months later. So I'm in isolation. Like, how do I get comfortable in my own skin in my home county? And then, the George Floyd, murder happened. And these protests were starting, and I saw that things were happening in Selma and in Fresno. And I knew immediately that I wanted to be involved. I wanted to just go. I wanted to be supportive. So I just started going to the rallies and went to the protest in Selma that I found out that Central Valley Allies for Change, coordinated, which, Serena and Selena are, founders and a big part of. And then it all came together. Oh my God, I grew up with Selena. I was living across the street from her at 5 years old. And all of a sudden, I started to feel purpose here in the Central Valley. And I started to feel like this is something that I could really get behind because I feel it, Also coming from one of the very few Black families in Selma. I'm half Mexican also, but I grew up on the Black side of my family in Selma. And anyway, I just felt really passionate, and I really admired what Serena and Selena, and Central Valley Allies for Change was doing. And so this project that the De Colores mural and the 559 mural project, Selena, and Serena asked me to be a part of this because I studied marketing and public relations, and it's just like my thing. I love it. So if I could be a part of their project, using what I've learned and experienced, away, I just want to contribute as much as possible. So it means a lot to me, De Colores with, the mural, the foundation of the mural is the song. So bringing the song and the art together, it just reminds me of being back home in Manhattan and us like all rejoicing in music and art together,
I always find it kind of interesting how big cities get it and small towns don't. I don't really understand that, because you can go to a big city like New York and you feel like you can speak any language you want while you're walking down the street. And I've seen instances in Fresno where you might not necessarily be able to do that. What my dad actually has this really interesting theory that the border is not really in San Diego, that it's really Shaw. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Good scenario. He's like, and if you want me to be more specific, it's Herndon, right? That's where there's like a significant difference in the signage on your yard, in the openness that you have towards others. And so why murals? Why was, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring that up, why I mentioned Shaw and Herndon. Have you ever seen a mural on Herndon?
I don't know. It's all downtown, right?
A poster definitely doesn't count. It looks like all the murals, or where people feel like they can express themselves, are south, right? And so I'm assuming Selma was one of the places we wanted to put this mural because it represents that community. So why murales? Why murals?
Yeah, I think they are, as a part of my thesis, they has been studied that they bring life to communities, especially in neglected ones. It's an art form that people can really be expressive and say something political without like saying something political. You're like, it's saying something, but it's not like explicit, right? And we really felt that was by, looking at other towns. Philadelphia was one, Baltimore was one, San Francisco, of course, Oakland. Like, you just see the life that it brings. It represents, that community, what they're going through. And, just learning the history through Phil. I hadn't had any like formal mural class or Chicano class, sadly, in my lifetime. But just learning with, talking with Phil, yes, as I knew him or got to know him recently, and watching some of his documentary videos, just like that history of like how Chicano mural art got started because, racism, how Mexicans and people of color not allowed in these spaces, beautiful galleries to look at these arts that, we had to go and create our own and in the streets. And so I think that is definitely a part of it. Especially in the rural communities where there's really no like big museum there, it's all in Fresno. So access is one, but also just the messaging, because we want to use these murals, kind of building off Vicky's murals that she produced. The difference would be like, we really want to have conversations and community dialogues on racial justice and socioeconomic equity. That's like the big difference, because we want to use these art pieces to start conversations. And that's something that we're developing right now, is these community dialogues. And that's going to happen virtually, because I think people need to talk about it. I think we're not given the tools to talk about racism, structural racism, how it works. We're kind of like, want to be blind and in denial that these systems exist. Like, no, racism ended when Martin Luther King, gave his speech, right? They want to believe that we're all equal, that, that it's done and over. Slavery is 150 years ago, but this country has never really reconciliated anything. And so that's why we're going through this mess right now. And I think it's going to take women like us, women of color, like Tiana, Serena, and myself, that are going to make the change. Women of color have to be on the forefront of the fight. And I have strong women behind me. To get this done, we have to talk about it. And there's just an article on Dolores Huerta in the New York Times very recently. She's 90 years old. That we have to continue the fight. Yeah. And this is why we're here, doing that and continue that legacy, because it hasn't ended. The fight for racial justice.
Yeah, and I really recommend that all of you read that article. And there's tons of books on Dolores Huerta, but I'm a true believer in moms. I mean, moms are like the key to life in reality, right? Not because they just give you life, because apparently they know everything on this planet. And so one of the things that people tend to forget when they talk about Cesar Chavez y el movimiento is that Dolores Huerta was equally as important to that movement. Now, obviously, a lot of us rejoice her because she's 90 years old and she's, obviously older in age. But Cesar Chavez, MLK, Gandhi, Dolores Huerta, they gave us a blueprint as to how to fight injustice. And I think you three, and the fact that you are significantly different, just looking at the screen, not just visually, but even the way you speak, the way you communicate, that's important for cultura as well, right? If you really teach culture, if you really learn about culture, you shouldn't look the same. That would be weird if we all looked the same, if we all spoke the same, if we all had the same mannerisms and slang. No, so it's important to combine that. Now, I noticed that you selected Selma as the site for this particular mural. Can you tell us about some of the images, Serena, in these murals, or in this particular mural? Serena?
Sure. In the imagery, we have, starting the scene, we have Ernest Palomino. He's playing the piano, and his energy from the musical notes kind of blasts over into the paintbrush of Fernando Hernandez as he's drawing or painting de colores. So all of the different colors in Selma. It's a very, very colorful scene. Fernando's section. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Mauro Carrera, our artist, did an awesome job. Mike Howe worked on Ernest Palomino's section. And then the energy from De Colores in the middle section goes over to Dolores Huerta. Lead artist Ariel Birdhow, that was her section. She just did a phenomenal job with Dolores Huerta, with her imagery. And it was so neat to see that that same image was recently published in, was it the Times, Selena? That
The Times?
same, or that?
Oh, the New York Times. Yeah. No, it wasn't that same image, unfortunately, but it would have been cool.
Well, yeah, it was posted recently. Anyways,
It was? Oh, okay.
yeah, Ariel showed it to me.
Okay.
So Dolores is wearing her a poncho, a UFW with a UFW eagle, and the energy from the De Colores scene goes over, and there's a Mesoamerican. Is that correct?
Mesoamerican serpent feather. Yeah, the
Right.
sun to the serpent feather, which has a lot of significance.
Yeah, it really just shoots out this energy. You can just feel it when you see it into the scene of protesters holding up signs. And we have Cesar Chavez represented there. We have Selena's, can I say that?
Yeah, yeah. My maternal grandfather is actually got a kudos. Wasn't in the original imagery, but my mom came by and she's like, "Hey, I have this picture of Selena's grandfather march with Cesar Chavez to Sacramento and DC," and I think that meant a lot to her. And my mom especially, she's like, so she put him in there, and it's really phenomenal.
That's super, super cool, by the way.
Yeah, it just sort of happened organically, and our logo is supposed to go on the mural, and she was thinking it was going to go on top of the mural, but she's actually going to put our logo on my grandfather's shirt, which is so emblematic. And so it's just a nice touch that happened organically.
That's very cool.
And I love the protest sign. So I know for our murals, we always want to touch on a social justice issue, right, Selena? And so it was important for us to highlight somewhere in the mural Black Lives Matter and the immigration issues that are happening. So we went with "No human is illegal." So that's on one of the protest signs. We have the fist for Black Lives Matter on another sign. It's just awesome. I love that section of the mural. It's my favorite. I love color, but that scene with the protesters is it just really, really, it's captivating.
Yes,
yeah.
An amazing job describing that. So those of you that are probably wondering why I'm leaving you with the suspense in the novela, just like a regular novela when your mom is watching a las 3 de la tarde, you will be able to watch a link that's on the interview to see the pictures and images and videos. So, but let me give them just a brief preview. That way they can't say like, "Ay, el profe me cae gordo." None of that. Okay, so let me show you a brief little video clip that Serena or Selena was kind enough to send me. So here's a yes, like a novela, I'm gonna leave it hanging. And there are more pictures and videos, which our production team is making a little 30-second spot of. Honestly, just the colors, just looking at murals, and you can see one section, and one section can tell you so much about our history and our culture. Kiana, can you share with us information about this event? When is it happening? Where can we go if I want to check it out? By the way, before I let you do that, you can actually see this live on MLTV and Radio Láser, so never fear. But we'd rather you go. Go ahead.
Yay! Okay. So the event is going to be on Friday at 5:30 in Selma at La Estrella Market. It is gonna host all sorts of activities, but we're gonna have a formal program. So starting, we're gonna have, of course, it's a COVID-19 safe event. We're gonna make sure everybody knows that. And we're gonna have a blessing of the wall by two different pastors. One from First Friendship Baptist Church, and also I believe St. Joseph's, right? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
St. Joseph's. Okay, so then everyone will get a chance to meet, the artists, and of course, Serena, the founders. We'll get to hear, them speak, and them speak about where the mural comes from for them. Acknowledgement of our donors and for everyone that helped make this happen. We're so thankful and appreciative of them. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting by Bob Allen from the Selma Chamber of Commerce. And then as far as the activities go, we're going to have a Calavera Katrina raffle. And that's really exciting because we're happy that 559 Project Mural Project has got new swag, and we're going to be raffling some of our swag to the winners of the Katrina contest. We're going to have performances also by Central Day Folklore, and we're also going to have this really amazing harmonica performance as well. And then, of course, to celebrate and acknowledge Halloween, treats for the kids. And La Estrella is going to provide, some prepared food for us as well.
Oh, that's amazing. That was like the best commercial.
Right?
Well, obviously, here at MLTV, we like to contribute to the cause, porque si se puede. We are going to donate masks and sanitizers to every single person that shows up. Yes.
Wow.
Yay. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's great.
Super cool mask, okay? It's not like the cheap kind. This is that's how good it
State
is.
of the art. Awesome.
Fancy.
Thank you.
Earlier, I don't know how it's going to be set up, but we can set up a little table where people can kind of walk by. It's actually a goodie bag from MLTV. Inside the goodie bag, you will find information about COVID. Obviously, that's extremely important. Social distancing, where using sanitizer, washing your hands, etc. And inside that particular bag, you can find mini sanitizer, and then wait, and one of these.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're more than welcome to have that. And then in the pack of masks, there's actually 5 masks, not 1.
Oh,
wow. That's
I'm
a
not
lot.
going to tell you who the sponsor is because, commercials, but there's an L in it, and you can salute it. That's all I'm telling you. It's a store where teenagers like to go. So if you happen to see that mask, well, it was donated by them. So thank you very much for making your kind donation. They actually donated 20,000 masks to our project.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's excellent.
I have some stuff that's a little more personal to each one of you. Okay. So
thank you.
I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to watch our show before, but to me, it comes down to family, right? I think most of the things that I say, I'm sure I heard you heard me talk about my dad. A lot of things come down to culture equals family equals mom and dad, right? So I'll start with Selena. Selena, if you can if you could tell us or share something that you learned from your parents that has put you on this path, what would that be? What is that?
Wow, their hard work and selflessness. I mean, I just learned at a young age their story, not as in depth as when I was older, but just like I knew where I came from, the hard work of my grandparents, and the struggles. And I think the struggles just really hit with me. And it wasn't until later, like, because you get taught in school to socialize like America, which is great, America this, America, you could do anything. And then you start to kind of get in reality and you start connecting the dots. And I think of how your family, why there's like no generational wealth or why certain choices were made. And so I think, I because of the struggle, I became a very empathetic person. And I feel that pain and the struggle and the justice, and it's really, it's integral of who I am. And so I feel that that's what they gave to me. And so I really want to always give back selflessly to make it a better place for my son and my family.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a wonderful foundation. My dad says, unfortunately, and I'm going to speak on behalf of him. He said, unfortunately, we're taught to survive versus succeed, which is completely different. So in his survival mode, we are here, but we definitely want to take the next leap as a minority group. And I mean that from an African-American standpoint or Black standpoint and Latino standpoint as well. So we are next. So now that we know, we talked a little bit about Selena's past, what do you want the future to be for your children and their children based on where we are right now?
I would love to see more compassion for people, inclusivity. We in our society, we stereotype and we label people, and we just don't have a heart for people. And I have a social work background, and I'm a Fresno State alumni, and I just have so much compassion, and I just love to advocate for people, and I love to see people empower themselves. And so I would love to see for my children, and I would love to see them encourage and empower other people, help to empower other people, to empower themselves, to speak up for themselves, to stand up for the good and right thing. If they see something that's not good, to stand up for their neighbors, for their friends. My kiddos, I'm so proud, to see them, they're not afraid to say Black Lives Matter, to stand up, and for me to be able to teach that to them at such a young age. It's an awesome, wonderful thing. So, just to have a heart for people, just to help people. I hope that they continue my work.
Thank you very much for sharing. Beautiful, thank you. And Kiana, you are next. And I think, when I look at you, I think you represent America. America looks more like you than it does like what people perceive Americans look like, right? There's a lot of biracial families, Latinos and African Americans and Hmong, and for that matter, white people as well. Can you tell me why it was important for you and I know that you mentioned that you grew up more African American or your Black family a little bit more, but why was it important for you to get involved with the Latino Project?
I mean, okay, so yes, I grew up on the Black side. I've always, it's no secret that I'm half Mexican, but I have always wanted to know more about my heritage and to represent that heritage more, and I felt like this was a chance to, learn more about it and to resonate with it more, reaching out to the community of Selma, which is predominantly Mexican, and a lot of my family, even on the Hispanic side, are there as well. And it has just helped me to get back in touch with our mural and this project being focal point and the conversation piece. And then I'm learning so much more about the movement, you know, in the 70s, because of it. And this is what I wanted. I remember thinking even years ago, I can't wait to get to that point where I can learn more about my Mexican heritage, my Latino heritage, and, you know, Latino history in general. You know, so this has really kicked that off for me, and it's filling a void. You know, it's filling something that needed to be filled for a long time.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to ask you a question, and I've been asking this question from every single guest. So this is definitely not about this particular topic, but I'm going to ask each of you this. And what does Black Lives Matter mean to you? What is define it for me in your words?
Okay, so if all lives mattered, you know, we wouldn't have to point out that Black Lives Matter. You know, I think it's very clear that all lives don't matter, you know, the same equally. And, you know, you come across the people that say, hey, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, what about all lives? You know, all lives matter. Well, you can honestly say that all lives are not treated the same. So with that argument, you know what I mean? That's my argument, you know, to people that I come across that are like, well, what about all lives, you know, whatever. So that's what Black Lives Matter means to me. It's about breaking it down to other people that not all lives matter, you know, and it is, you know, the Black people that I feel like have been the Black people of the U.S., you know, that have been fighting and trying to make that known consistently for the longest amount of time. So, yeah, BLM to me, this is a reminder that, you know, all lives don't matter.
Exactly, and that actually, I'm so glad you said that, because that is the return comment to people when you say, you know, all, Black Lives Matter, and someone will say, well, all lives matter. I'm like, do they really? I mean, have you seen the border? Have you seen homeless people? Because they all seem to be essentially minorities. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Do they really matter? I guess it's hard to tell, right? And the reason for asking you that question, Kiana, because if you take out some of the words or kind of switch them around, it feels like in this country we Americans find people to segregate. Someone eventually gets tag your it, tag Latinos, tag farm workers, tag women, tag African American, tag. It feels like we're constantly playing tag, and I think this is the year where people say peacefully, enough is enough. I think we have to create change, and through art, I think Selena, you guys found, or you girls, I'm so used to saying you guys, I don't know why, but you girls have found the one thing that can transcend time, and that's art. Art is beautiful and colorful, like we are, right? Like every single one of us. Selena, can you invite people to this event? I'm gonna let all of you invite people to this event. So can you invite people to come out, to check it out, to look it up, to get connected, to help, to donate?
Selena.
Your microphone. She got so excited.
I got so excited. Yes, please come this Friday. Show your support for art. Show your support for racial justice, for social economic equity, for supporting Chista Puede causes. I have a really badass Chingona team with Kiana and Serena and myself. And yeah, just please come, show your support. Please come wear your mask. I'm so glad that MLTV and Ricardo is just spreading the word for us. I mean, wow, this is just amazing. I mean, Serena, who knew, and Kiana, who knew that a few months ago we'd be on this show live, you know, like, we were just doing the grunt work and getting, you know, even though, like Serena said, we're not artists, but we are the heart and passion to get the three of us to get people together to make things happen, get the right people in the room, get money. And this is all grassroots effort. You know, we ask friends, family, community to donate. And I wanted to bring this up with, you know, with Kiana on board and, you know, finding out her history. in the Black community and her Mexican heritage. We will actually we're in a partner. She's going to be our lead on this for a Black Latino mural in Selma to tell that history, to tell that beautiful history, and she's going to be our lead on that. And we're super excited. We don't know what's going to happen, but of course we're going to need funds and support. And so if we could put it out there now, that'd be really great, because there is a history there. When she's done her research and she told us, and we're like, wow, this needs to be told in some way. Yeah.
I say we have a live telethon. That's what I say. I say,
oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
And we challenge our friends and family to donate a couple bucks live right here. We'll tag everybody.
Oh, that'd be great.
Woo! Remember when I had lunch in 3rd grade? Like right there, bam.
Kiana, this would be a great opportunity to announce our Fresno Arts Council.
There you go. Like what we are good at here is ideas. Like we're really good at ideas. Serena, invite us to this event. Invite us to participate, to donate, to get involved, to be part of the solution.
Awesome. You guys come show us some love Friday at La Estrella Market. I also want to let you guys know about our second mural unveiling, which is on Sunday, November 1st in Reedley. This mural is representative of immigration issues, and so it's called #No Human is Illegal. Beautiful, touching artwork by our muralist Edit and his friend Ibex. So we have these 2 events. Come out, show us some love, show your support. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, please, and share our events. And if you can, please donate. And Selena, how can we donate? Which method are we using now?
Kiana can help on that, and because our fiscal sponsored is changing.
Okay, so you can definitely donate on Venmo for we have Venmo, PayPal, and we have like something, I believe it's a donate button like somewhere on our website, but I have to double check on that. But we do want to make the announcement that we were being fiscally sponsored by the Selma Community Enhancement Foundation, and we are now going to be sponsored by the Fresno Arts Council. We're going to make a formal announcement of that later on, next week. But just want to make sure everyone knows, the little bit of a transition, and we're super excited for this new, fiscal sponsorship by Fresno Arts Council.
Very cool. So we would like to sponsor $100 on behalf of MLTV.
Yes.
Awesome. But there's more. I would like to challenge my friends and family who will eventually be forced to watch this video, because that's how we roll around here, to donate. And remember, it's not about the $100. It's really $1. You can donate $1, $2,
right.
$5, $7.
Yes.
Every dollar makes a difference, because your donation will live forever through this art. Kiana, invite us. Make us go. We must go. We must be there.
You guys have to come on Friday, 5:30, to our De Colores, mural unveiling. It's going to be awesome. It's super fun. Lots of this contest and the prizes and the people and meet the artists. But you definitely also have to come to unveiling as well for No Human is Illegal in Reedley. Okay, please donate for our future murals. We have a GoFundMe page as well as the Venmo. Please visit our Instagram and our Facebook pages, 559 Mural Project, and you'll see the ways to donate on both of those.
Go ahead.
And Prophet, do I have time to kind of give some information on the Reedley?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So I am so excited about our Reedley mural. #No Human is Illegal. We have Haj Reza, who is part of the Fresno
Islamic Center.
Yes, Fresno Islamic Center. He is going to come and speak some words of encouragement, of life, of power, and of love. And I'm super excited. We have artist and performer Fonzo of Free Minds, and his organization is called No More Kids in Cages. He's from the Stockton area, and he has already hosted 2 rallies up in the northern area. And he's going to be speaking on immigration issues and our policies here in the U.S., namely the detention centers where we continue to cage human beings. And he is also a rapper and performer. He was just on tour in Idaho, and he's going to be dropping his new song for the kids. I'm super excited to have him. And yes, we are inviting everyone to bring homemade signs to stand in solidarity with those impacted by immigration policies in the U.S. We are also going to have a performance by Centro de Folklore. We're going to have the Mexican dancers out there. This mural is so it's so touching for me. It's such so solemn and serious. The immigration policies and people who are impacted. And I got to talked with my grandma just a couple of weeks ago and let her know what I was doing. And she was telling me about in the 60s how she, was dealing with, I guess she was in Texas, and she was, her and her family were targeted several times and, taken back across the border, and then, they'd have to come back. But just to hear my grandma's story, it's just really touching. And my heart breaks for, I know people personally who have family in detention centers and who are scared of being deported, taken from the country that they've grown up in and lived in and made a life for themselves. And so, yes, please come out Sunday, November 1st at 2 p.m. at Sunrise Mini Mart in Reedley. Thank you guys. Many blessings to you all.
Thank you very much. And absolutely invite some of your performers or artists if they want to come back on next week, because there's still actually time. We'll be more than happy to help them out, or actually even later this week, because we have time on Thursday as well. If you want to jump on with me, not a problem. So one of the things I wanted to share with you all, because I have a game that I play with everybody. I'm going to play with you guys in a little bit, but I want to share with you that you 3 represent what's beautiful about our culture, right? And I don't mean like in a specific ethnic group. I mean like the world, Earth, Mother Earth, and what it gives you. I think it's represented in each one of you. One of the things that my dad has taught me is if you don't go out and give away food, what if someone doesn't eat because you didn't get up and it was like too early in the morning for you and you didn't want to go to the work? So that means that someone doesn't eat because we don't want to be early birds, right? What if go out and fight the good fight, and someone is going to be held down for generations and generations and generations because we didn't want to speak up? And all it takes is one of you, Selena, or 2 of you, Serena, or 3 of you, Kiana, or all of the people that will support this particular project, which I think is beautiful in itself. So I wanted to thank you 3 for being on our show. And this will be promoted, so there should be about 5,000 to 10,000 people that will watch it between
wow.
the day of your
Yeah, that'd be great.
Now it's time for our quick and fast questions. Are you ready? All right. I'm going to share a word with you or a phrase, and you can only answer with one word. No cheating, Kiana. I already see like you're trying to give me a story with your answer. No, one word. Okay, one word. So whatever I say, you can only reply with one word. Now, you realize my questions will not be one word, but here we go. Selena, you ready? 559 Murales Project means what? One word. Ooh. Oh, you thought it was easy. Oh no, oh, no. So many words.
Pick a good word, Serena.
It's me? I thought it was Selena.
Or Selena, she's just cheating and trying to push it onto you.
I thought it was Serena. Our names sound so similar.
Selena, you're up. 5 seconds.
Justice.
Justice. Serena, What does Dolores Huerta mean to our culture?
Strength.
Kiana, music. Ooh,
Unity.
I like that. Selena, your mom.
Oh, wow. Fighter.
Serena, your community.
Do I want to answer this honestly?
You already broke the rule. I already broke the your community.
Division.
Division. Kiana, the future.
Um,
Ooh, this is a good game, huh? I like this game. That's funny because I always tell people it's a lot harder than it seems because there's so many things you want to say, right? Go ahead, Kiana. That was like a free commercial that gave you more time to think about it.
Whole.
Okay.
WHOLE.
Oh, okay. Okay. Why? Now I have to know why. Why?
Because I think in the future, especially with our project and how people feel so ignited, in the same way that we are, to come together as a whole, instead of feeling divided, we are going to be together, whole.
Right. So I want, obviously, to finish the show. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Erica Nicole said, love it. She's actually an opera singer that was recently on our show. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is that we always finish our shows the same way. Each one of our guests gives a positive message to our community, our watchers, the world, wherever it lands. So I'm going to start with Selena. What is your positive message to our audience or your friends and family?
And this could be more than one word.
More than one word. It's a free for all.
Positive messaging. I think, wow. That could be profound and simple. Shoot. I think as much as we feel depleted in what's going on and fatigued and hopeless and like frustrated and mad and angry about the injustices that are going on right now. I know I do. There's some days where I'm just like, I can't deal with this. But I get up every morning and I do this work and it gives me hope. And I think that's what people are really trying to hold on to, that we will see justice someday. We just have to keep fighting for it. And it's just our passion. It's my passion. And just find your passion and your light, and that'll keep us moving forward toward positive.
Thank you very much. Great job. I feel like this is a final. Why does it feel like a test? Serena, you're up. You're positive.
All right. I would say I encourage people just to love on each other, to look for the similarities and not the differences, and try to find some common ground, to be less judgmental and more inquisitive, to get to know your neighbors, to get to know about people's cultures, their religions, why they believe what they believe, so that we can have a deeper appreciation for one another. And I think that will help to bring us together. And so love on one another, have compassion, and be less judgmental.
Thank you very much, Serena. I feel like I want to vote for you for something. I vote yes. Amazing, beautiful hair, my dear. You're up.
Okay, so to piggyback off of Serena, with with being less judgmental and with having compassion, it means that, you are having an open mind. And I just ask people, like, just open your mind a little bit more than where it was. And if you can push it a little bit more and more and more every day, then I can see, being in a world of people who are less judgmental. We can start with our county. I'm not asking for too much. Let's start with our county. Just open your mind a little bit. And we have all the resources to help us with questions that we have. When you make your judgments, maybe think about, where do those judgments come from? And I wonder, how did things get this way, or why do I think that way? Well, guess what? We have the internet. You can, if you don't have any person to ask, you can ask Google, and you can do some research a little bit. And even within your own research, you can end up changing your own mind as you get closer to what the truth is. So just let's educate ourselves and keep an open mind.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. That was amazing. You did a truly wonderful job. You're always welcome to visit our show if you ever have anything you want to get off your chest, if you want to chat. And I told Selena, this is like 15, 30 minutes, but then when you get into cheese, man, it's hard to stop. We did about an hour. So for those of you that are getting connected, are going to be watching the video, my name is Ricardo El Profe from MLTV and Radio Láser. It is my complete pleasure to share this video with you. These ladies are amazing, and I think that you can do them justice by sharing the video, getting connected, and also donating. And there's lots of versions of donating. There's donating your time, there's donating financially, there's donating with water, right? Even those things really help. But one of the things I want to share with you is my particular message. And I have sort of two. So my first message is the one thing I learned from my dad. Right. So, and my mom and my dad. Let me make sure I mention my mom, because I'll feel like a chancla coming like in this angle right now. So the one thing I wanted to share with you is that in order for you to love yourself truly, you have to love others. You can't really love yourself the way you say you do unless you love and accept others. And that begins in your home, in your neighborhood, in your city, in your county, in your state, in your nation. And it trickles up that way if you allow it to happen and not carry or create barriers for you. And the one lesson I've learned from now I've always grown up in the fields or near the fields or through my dad. And the one thing I learned from them is like, wow, you could really smile and laugh and sing while you struggle. And the answer is yeah, because there's two ways to take it, right? You can smile and keep fighting, or you can close the door and pretend nobody cares. But people care. There are more people that care if you go out and show them your smile. So finally, I will wrap up with this. You could be the person that makes someone's day perfect by just saying good morning, good evening, have a great day, God bless you, or you have beautiful hair, or you have a beautiful smile, or I love your glasses. Folks, have a great time. We'll see you next time. My name is Ricardo El Profe. Love you, ladies. Have a great
Thank you.
Thank you.